Andrew was recently promoted from an engineer to an architect. He knows the tech quite well. But now he finds that he needs to talk to management about their technology needs. But he feels like they don't necessarily trust him. They treat him like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Diane, the IT director, suggests that Andrew needs to learn how to better document and present to management. Andrew feels discouraged. He knows the tech very well, but that just isn't enough anymore. Should he resign? Go back to being an engineer? I have been there. It took several years of hardship before I finally unlocked the methods that I use today. The good news is, Andrew can learn them in less than 1 month and save years of trial and error. Now, Andrew is presenting in front of management, even the CEO. Don't tell him now, but soon he'll be offered a position at a vendor. Way to go, Andrew. You can do the same. Learn how to assess, present, and document so that the tech skills you've spent years developing shine. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another Office Hours. Kind of going more relaxed today. It's Friday after all. So, yeah. And trust me, I need to relax. A rough evening. Yeah, just sometimes it just happens where you get things in your mind and can't get them out, ideas, all sorts of things, and they just get stuck there. So that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, I've traded. You can say I've traded in like one set of things for another. Being on call for things and that sort of thing. Traded in for ideas in the middle of the night, going, "Hey, maybe you should try this," that sort of thing. So it happens, right? Really quick. Oops, no, that's not it. I want to give one last chance for everybody. So the promotional running ends tonight. This is it. So just really quick, this is something where you can become a founding member of our group and be part of a group that is led by me and is able to enhance their career over time instead of being just one course you go through and that's it, or just a book you read, sort of thing. This is meant to accelerate your not only learning but just giving you advice and mentoring and helping you along your career path. So it's really hard to explain for people that have never experienced anything like this. I know, so it's a bit of a challenge and a bit of a stretch for some. But my encouragement is to give it a shot. See if you can be part of this. Obviously, there is an expense involved with this particular promotion. I can't operate for free. This kind of stuff, even what I'm doing right now, even the software that does this live stream, this costs, costs money. It costs me about almost $100 a month actually to do this. I'm surprised I haven't been using it more. Once I realized, oh wait a minute, I should be. So honestly, this is something where these kind of things do take some money, and so that this is a way to step into that role of helping people get something for their money, and I'm getting the support out of it. It's kind of a mutual relationship, but this particular event is very much biased towards the you give an initial investment, you don't have to pay anymore. It's not like a monthly fee kind of thing. So it's more of that kind of a thing. So that's why I wanted to put it forward for 1 week only, is because I can't do these kind of things forever. It's not really something you can run in perpetuity. Eventually you get to the point where, you have something like that too long and people take advantage of it and don't take advantage of it. You take it down and people get mad at you. So that's why we're saying, this is 1 week only. That's it. So after midnight tonight, it's offline. And so if I choose to offer the bundle again, it will not be at that price that I had. So this is the only chance to get that at the price it is right now. So I encourage you to either go to that link, thrive-it.com/4DFC23, or use the QR code and we'll see you inside. And that officially is all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, honestly, yeah, it's Friday. Let's let our hair down a little bit. So honestly, I wasn't sure what to talk about today. In fact, I was thinking about this as I was jumping on. I don't know if I had declared a specific topic. So let me see if I did that. I'm just gonna just look at the event page and see if I did. And not really. It was more of just for people to be able to um, come on and chat with me live if they wanted to, or just give a comment in the chat there. I'm kind of monitoring as I can, since I'm kind of on this one solo here. So feel free to, if you're with us live, just drop a comment and or a question if you have one. And really wanted to talk through like things I've learned in my IT career and where I see things heading a little bit, and yeah, some things like that. So um, I don't want to get into, I guess, scare tactics or whatever, but there are some things going on in the industry, and I do want to address them, at least at a surface level here, because it's all kind of evolving, right? So there's a couple of things. One, systems administration is becoming a lot easier than it was in some regards. In the regards of the technology itself is getting easier to administer, but what is happening now is you end up with more complexity of systems, and so it's not as simple as it once was, where you had, say, for example, you had one delivery mechanism for all your applications. Now you might have multiple delivery, and you might be dealing with issues. Okay, is that a desktop issue, or is that a virtual desktop issue, or is that a database issue, or is it a network storage? There's all these complexities that come up all the time, and you have to be able to identify those more quickly nowadays. And honestly, there are some things that have been developed over the years that I think help with that. Some monitoring tools that are getting more and more intelligent, as far as saying, based on these trends, we can kind of predict that this might be the problem or the reason this is happening. Or it's more than just up down alerting these days. It's really a lot more proactive as far as that goes. And um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of tools out there and a lot of things that can be helpful that are part of that. And in fact, and in just a moment, I'm going to bring Laura on. We're going to talk about some community stuff here, but I'm going to complete this thought really quick here. So the concept here is that your needs are evolving, and if you're not in a place where you are with others learning things, if you're not challenging yourself to grow, then you're going to be left behind. And this is where a lot of things like AI that are emerging right now are really factors here, because when it comes down to it, um, a lot of things can be automated that couldn't be even 2 years ago, even 2 months ago. And as that technology is evolving, we can expect to see more AI driven things going on. So that's something to be aware of if you're in systems administration right now, or even system engineering to a level. We're starting to see some, maybe not encroachment, but there's some opportunities for those kind of systems to start automating scripts and things like that for deployment. And so it's getting easier and easier to deploy, and some of that is getting automated. And so when it comes down to it, we really want you to be prepped for whatever comes, because we don't know what's going to come. And so that's where we want to be together. And that's why I asked Laura to join me today. So, Laura, are you ready? Thumbs up.
Hi.
That's your unprepared.
What?
I didn't want to catch you unprepared.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm usually, if I'm not prepared, I can wing it, usually. You got to be like that these days, you know?
It's true. And happy Friday to you.
Friday. I can't believe it's actually been a long week for some reason. I don't know. Lots of stuff that happened. Lots of learning opportunities. You were on some of them with me as well.
Yep.
Yeah, really good
Yeah,
stuff.
we're
Like my brain is spinning with great ideas and amazing like kind of pulling together this strategy in my mind for how to like move into this um next gen era and the next kind of I don't know era of my life. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Yeah.
honestly, and I think that's a big thing, and we're having to learn to evolve along with it. And
Mhm.
so, just to give some behind the scenes, we're working on some learning together of how to do things in a more modern way, as far as community, as far as things like marketing, those kind of things. We're engaging more. We're not just taking it as it is. We want to challenge the status quo a bit, and so that's
Yeah.
why, yeah.
It's
So
like this stuff that DJ and I have been doing for God, I don't even want to say how many years, but
right,
it's that but bigger. It's that but we're breaking it out with no limitations and that's so exciting because it's kind of like the way the world's going now. Like the questions that are on people's minds are very different than the ones that were on all of our minds 10 years ago, even 5 years ago.
yeah,
I mean, all of a sudden, like Chat GPT is coming out, and it's like the thing is, I didn't even know what it was when the buzz was out already, and I'm like. That's never happened to me before, actually, in technology. Like, how did that happen so fast? It's like I don't know if it just went on to what's it called, the TikTok or whatever. Like it went around that way. Like whatever it is, viral is happening faster than it ever did, and social media is out of control. So it's kind of like, you know, for businesses to figure all of this out and doing it the right way, and for individuals like and talk about businesses, it's what I've always recommended and what I've always pushed for and pioneered, from way back when social was just on the map for businesses.
yeah,
And it's kind of like, how do you rein all this in, understand it and leverage it in the right way, and from both the business perspective and definitely the individual perspective. So, for your own brand, for your own who you are and what you want
yeah,
to do with your life, like which channel are you using now? I mean, it's like, I mean,
yeah,
it's changed and changed and changed, whatever the new thing is. And most of the time it doesn't stick, right? Like there's been a few along the way that are just like, yeah, I don't use that. Like it just died on the vine,
yeah,
right? But like there are some good contenders out there that are still seriously important. Like, for example, Instagram, where I used to say it's not worth it to do it for businesses because you don't want to, like, you know, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, right?
yeah.
And
No, it's
have to
true.
post the same stuff everywhere and have all this extra overhead and keeping this up. And, it's just too much. You know, and then it's like, and it was mainly pictures. And now, because of Meta and the combination between Facebook and Instagram, I am super excited actually to see where that's going to go because I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that for years because of my Geek Girl community on Facebook. Like, I love the platform, for example. Um, I kept the platform because that's what I wanted, was like a safe space for geeks to just have conversations, and they don't
Mhm.
disappear, in 5 seconds, and they don't like it's not about pictures. I'm not gonna like throw my picture everywhere. I mean, you guys know me, right? Like DJ, like I'm not one to be like, oh, look at me, I'm in here, I'm in France, I'm doing this, like selfie, selfie, selfie. I don't do that, and so I've been not wanting to do Instagram very much, even though has been connected, a bit.
Yeah,
But now, I mean, I know it's still a contender, and I'm looking at different ways to do it, and so are you.
yeah.
So
And it's funny because I was just talking about like things like AI, and when it comes to marketing, this is probably one of the biggest things AI is being used for right now, believe it or not.
I know.
And so, and even some things that aren't really truly AI, they're just automation.
Yeah.
Like post automation, for example, has been something that I've been using for several years now. People comment all the time, it's like, "Wow, you're so active on LinkedIn and whatnot." I was like, "Well, actually, I'm really not. I just have a lot of automations built in that brings up old stuff so you can see it again." Um, and it is what it
That's
is.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's the way it's been because there weren't tools to do that for you that were super easy, right? Like, and you're not if you're gonna do automation and you're a techie, right? You're gonna do it like where it is really meaningful for people to be using it. You're not gonna like spend. I mean, maybe some people have. I don't know. I'm sure, but spend a ton of time on like the doing some tool for yourself for social, right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're gonna focus on the bigger picture, right, with automation, and because there's so much there, it's the future. So yeah, so with all these new ones that are just like kids are using them. I mean, I had a kid. I'm not gonna say he's a kid. He's 19 now. He just started college, but he's one of our main community members. He's been at E2E VC several times now. He's done sessions,
Mhm.
um, and his name's Matt, and he's super cool. And he's you know he's helping me kind of build out my page on what do you call it, on Discord, like the community site. So I'm kind of looking at that possibly to kind of because there's a lot of features there. And he was showing me ChatGPT, and so was Ton. And that's actually his uncle. That's how he found out about E2E. So that's why he's the youngest member. Anyway, yeah, it's all cool. But like the kid, like he grew up in this. This is the digital native stuff. This is what's happening now. So these kind of
Yeah.
tools, like automation tools, it's like the kids see them first. It's like, wow, really? Whew. You know, it's
Yeah.
because there's gonna be social channels. I mean, if there's not already, I don't know if there's any on the horizon. But like social channels mixed with all this automation and AI and like where it's kind of like that's I don't know. It's all kind of coming in that way, and it's too spread out right now. So something's happening. And if you look at Meta, I mean, it took longer than I had hoped, but yeah, I'm hoping big things will happen there, and it'll be more integrated with other platforms, so we
Yeah.
can kind of look at
Perhaps.
one place and be able to do different things, for different reasons.
Right. Yeah. And I
Um,
think a lot of that is going to be coming down to, well, what people need to know in terms of the technology world is, one, there's still good guidance to just picking a platform and sticking with it.
yeah,
But I think a lot of them are these days kind of doing the wrong kind of things with that. And it's
they
funny, like
are.
as far as like how much Twitter means to your career,
Hmm.
I can't really speak to that. I've been seeing some people that okay, they're well known on Twitter or they're not well known on Twitter, but it seems to be pretty binary. It's
And you
either
see, yeah, and you see how it works. Twitter, I mean, LinkedIn, okay, yeah, for business, right? LinkedIn in general for business is great, right? Because we can connect with each other in meaningful ways for all different kinds of reasons, and it's a community. But I would say Twitter, right, is like the one that most businesses have been really focusing on to not businesses, but also individuals mainly, I guess too. Um, to get their followers up and like talk to each other and do it in the open, but I mean aside from the DMs, but like look what happens, somebody buys the company that is going to completely change things, and it's like things are divided just because he's a political guy, you know so all this other stuff's coming in, and I mean it's like, and he changes the name of it, and it's kind of like this was my profile. This was my handle. Like, and I have this many followers, like I've been communicating on this, and my whole world's changing right now, possibly based
yeah,
on what he wants to do, like, so it's just kind of interesting. I don't know, like, because we got to remember that we don't own these platforms. I mean, we don't own them, right? Like, they could be changed at any moment. And I think if you really look at the Facebook stuff, like, believe me, it's been kind of my white whale for 12 years now. Like, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, he loves having his team kind of playing with the algorithms and changing up the interface, like, and changing the buttons here and doing this and da, 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 da. Oh, let's see if this works. Oh, let's see if this function. Take that functionality out. Let's see what they do. Like that's what's
Yeah.
been going on for this whole time with Facebook, and it's even crazier when you have a page on there, like a community or whatever, because it's like, it's like they're really playing with that piece, but it's kind of weird to me because I'm like, oh my god, I have this amazing big community on there, and it's very strong. These people have been on it for 12 years with me, and it could change at any moment. And what am I going to do? Like, it's kind of like that whole feeling of I have a community site and I'm a vendor and I've used this platform, but they just went out of business, or they just end of life their product. What the hell
Right.
are we going to do? We have 300,000 users on this platform or whatever,
Yeah.
these are our community. This is our community, and we want to support them, and we want to keep this content, and we don't want it to just shut down or have bugs because we don't have the talent to be fixing it. Like, they're
Yeah.
not supporting it anymore,
So
Anyway.
interestingly enough, this is actually one of the reasons why when I started the Citrix Hero community, I did so on a different platform that's called Mighty Networks. The thing about that one is that I pay every month for that. And
Yeah.
so, and I know people on there probably don't realize that, but because I do it for free for now.
I don't
um,
remember you ever saying that company name.
yeah, so basically
Wow.
it's its own app, its own web page. It's not like others though. It's not like Slack and things like that where I maintain a control that I wouldn't have on these other platforms. And so I'm not beholden to, whatever Facebook says is a go, no go. I'm not worried about any of that, but also I can control whether or not you see advertisements and things like that. I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things about owning your own and being uh, more, I guess, more premium in that way
Yeah.
that is worth the cost to kind of make a very specific group of people you're working with. Now, granted, the problem with that always is, and the one I've faced is, are people on it? And that's what's driven me back towards things like Slack and things like that, which
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of don't like Slack at all. But here we are. It's just like I've got these like 18 channels or whatever. I think I've turned off most of them. I think I'm down to like 6 that are just kind of in the general feed there. That just kind of line the side of my desktop there, and I see they're all indicating that there's new messages.
I know. It's like,
It
when do
becomes
you
a
have the time to
noise.
keep up with all of these
Yeah,
different channels and check them all the time? And then you feel bad when it's like somebody trying to reach you on a
yeah.
channel that you don't use all the time.
Right. So the problem becomes like intentionality. And so that's when it comes down to what are you doing to entice people to care about what you're talking about? And this has been a challenge that I've been trying to um, do what I can about lately with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, is to, hey, I want you to care about this. And if you're having a conversation with me, I'm going to kind of guide it towards these things that should be cared about, and that kind of self-selects a lot of the discussions, I know. But at the same time, what I want to attract is people that are actually excited about this kind of stuff, and so
Mhm.
it's really important.
Definitely. Did I get frozen on the screen?
Not at the moment.
Oh, that's so weird. I just took a screenshot because I want to show you guys, or well, I don't know if I want to, but it's like the funniest picture of me. I'm like leaning forward because I was getting all passionate about what we were talking about, and it just froze in that position. So anyway, I'll send it to you later. It's funny. It's ridiculous. Anyway, love that.
That's crazy. Actually, by the way, I should bring this up. We have a survey out there, as far as what your uh, current challenges are in IT. And so I encourage you to, they're both the same QR code, they should be anyway. So answer this one question in a survey, and it's going to unlock something very special for you as a thank you gift for giving us that feedback. And that is that you can get a copy of my book, a hardcover like this, that normally sells for $48 on Amazon. This is a $48 book, right? So this is hardcover, premium, nice, big premium book here, right?
So wait, how much is this thing?
So it's a name your own price. So as long as you pay for the cost of the printing, which is I think $16, and the cost
Yeah.
of shipping it, it's yours. Just name
That's
a price.
awesome,
Whatever you think
man.
is fair, that's what I want you to do. So if you think that, a nice cover like that, and you're kind of strapped for cash and $17 is fair for you, go for it. That's fine. If you feel like, paying it forward a little bit and saying, you know what, I want to go ahead and pay $30 for this, and then I'll probably just take the extra that you paid and put that towards somebody else's, and kind of pay it forward
That's cool.
on your behalf.
That would be cool. Hey, that's a good feature to add to what we do.
Yeah.
Like
So
a pay it for things. That's
exactly.
Cool.
So this is something where if I get enough of these, and if I get enough people to do that, what I'm going to do is, I guess I have the wrong angle selected here, but there's a portion of my desk up there that I'm going to have a separate stack of books, and that's going to be the pay it forward stack. And the more people that invest in this more than they need to, into this program, I'm going to be putting books in that stack. And once we have a few of those up, I'll unlock another feature where it's going to be, if you want to just pay for just just a few dollars, I think probably like, $4 or $5, and the cost of shipping and that sort of thing to help out even more. Once we get enough that have paid into that, then we can do that. But somebody's got to pay for the cost of printing, right? I've got a lot of sunk cost here that I need to have help with myself. So just the idea is that, yeah, we do that. But the question is really important. It's one question. That's it. There's another survey out there that I'm trying to get working. For some reason, it's just not wanting to work with me today. It happens, right? You go too complex on a question, like have this cool matrix of all these options, and you select a bunch of them, and nothing shows up. So yeah, it happens sometimes with these systems. But what's really important to me, and going forward, what I want to know is, when it comes to the IT world, what's your biggest challenge? And so, and don't give me a one-word answer. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. You can say a one-word answer is surveys as your biggest challenge, then you're kind of just being a jerk. Actually, not kind of. You are being a jerk at that point.
Yeah.
Or if you're like the person a couple years ago there's one I did a couple years ago, and this person went through the whole entire thing, and like literally started like ripping into me and calling my wife ugly. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. This actually does happen. So I'm aware of that. But at the same time, look, the reality is I can't evolve this forward by being psychic. If I don't know what your challenges are, I can't help you. So this is your chance to sound off and say, here's my biggest challenge, DJ. Here's what I'm going through. Your answers are confidential. There's no connection between the two systems. Like once you answer the question, it's completely confidential. And then you can click on this other link and it takes you to a different page entirely. There's no like, hey, I'm keeping track here. Not for this. No, I want you to be completely honest and completely anonymous. That's the way this works. So.
And this is actually something that DJ and I are talking about a lot. Like we want to tailor things to you, like to the individual or the individual vendor, just to make sure we're like in our own ways giving what the best we possibly can, like, and focusing on the things that matter the most to the overall global community. So that's what this is kind of starting. Like, I think that we need to kind of answer that question. And then it's like, I think DJ, we talked about, kind of pulling this content together and sharing it, right? Like at some point, like what are we finding out about things too, just so people can be more educated, like the people doing the surveys, it's like, just, it's community altruism. I mean, that's, we all need to know the answer to that question kind of in different ways, right? Like that are in the industry. I mean, we
Yeah.
all have different roles, but it matters.
Right. And if your biggest challenge is, you know, trying to explain, your technology to your project manager, go ahead and put that down. That's something that, we can circle the wagons and figure out how to help you with that. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to do those kind of things. I can continue just like espousing everything that I know, but if it doesn't have an application, if it's not real to you, then what's the point? So that's a big
It's
piece
got
of
to
it
be,
too.
yeah, the meaning being meaningful, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So that's your
same with what
opportunity
we were
there.
talking about with social and everything else. It's like, it's all about being transparent, meaningful. Um, don't waste people's time, and don't let them waste yours. It's kind of like, let's focus on the crux of what you need and what we all need as individuals. And then go from there.
That's right.
Have we ever asked that question in the past? Not really, not that way, and really pulled in the answers, and then did something about it.
Well,
Not that way.
I have.
Have
I've been.
you? And
I've. This is the question I've been asking since 2017. Yeah.
so what was the overall in 2017?
Most people were more in the Citrix context, and so a lot of people gave answers that were, talking about specific pieces of technology. A lot of people were like, I want to know how to become an architect."
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that came up a lot. The other one was, that got repeated quite a few times was, I just feel like I'm too old to
Yeah.
start this, start learning something new. And I'm like, I relate. I feel the same way. I really do. Like learning new things. I'm like, not another thing. Um,
Yeah.
and some others that just said really just they weren't sure where to start. They weren't sure how to explain things to management.
That's a big
There's a lot of
one
things
to
like
get
that.
in the Geek Speak sessions. Yeah, like it's still. I mean, the last 5 years, it's this whole pivoting we've been talking about. And I mean, there's so many people that are like us that have been in the industry for a long time, especially that
Mhm.
are, it's kind of like, okay, we've seen it all, and we see the trends, and we see kind of the evolution and where we're
Yeah.
going next, and
Well,
but figuring out what you want to do instead of being stuck, right? Like in
yeah, that's the main
yeah,
thing. So,
that's
and also like, as far as as far as I'm concerned, and this is something that was actually something I was thinking about last night is, um, how much time I've spent in actual consulting work or engineering work in the last year and a half. And it's just on this downward trend. And I'm not freaked out about that because I'm really positive that it's like other people can do that. Other people can take on those kind of things. And I can focus in on helping people grow. And
mhm.
so that's really kind of where I want to go with all this. Now, there's some difficulties along the way, and I'll be just in full transparency here. The difficulty along the way is paying the bills. So there's a lot of things
Yeah.
you'll be seeing from us, like this promotion we're running this week and things like that really are focused around that. Now, I'm not always going to be asking for the community to be contributing to that, but I will ask for your patience when it comes to things like sponsored messages and things like that. When you'll see things that you've never seen from me before. People have never seen a sponsored message from me before because I've never allowed it until now. And so this is one of those things where like we have to start rolling with the punches a bit here as far as all this goes and as far as everything I'm doing. I need to start kind of saying it's okay for me to
To
uh,
test the
allow
water
that.
to see what people want. Yeah.
Yeah,
See what's good, what works, what everybody likes.
yeah. And
And
the more we have as far as how to relate to you, the more we can be selective about the kind of people that we allow into that. One of my big rules with all this is that, I will not engage. I mean, this is going to be a hard fast rule for pretty much ever. Is that I will not engage with a sponsor that doesn't care about my audience. If they don't care in some way, or they don't have some sort of way to to give value to you. If they're just there to like, oh, we just want their money, I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
Mm,
Like if it's
uh,
about leads, like numbers, this, that,
yeah,
I mean, there's ways to measure that are a lot more, let's go back to meaningful again,
yeah,
because that's not meaningful. I mean, you can pay for
yeah,
leads, like you could pay companies to get leads and then, yeah, it's just, yeah,
yeah.
let's,
Shoot them
let's
emails
reset
I get.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I'm sure like we'd love to get your feedback too on all these things, right, DJ? Like,
yeah,
wouldn't you love to hear like people come back and go, oh, I really like these emails you're sending out, or like, it's really,
yeah.
I mean, explaining some things to me or whatever it is, or things about your
There have been some
workshop.
interesting stories, yeah.
Yeah.
And getting back more into the freedom to be able to do that is important to me. To be able to just share things with you without worrying about it is important. And there's some things that I've wanted to share in like broadcasts and emails and things like that that just I haven't felt appropriate. And so there's certain things that I've only shared in private in my private community because I just you know some things that are somewhat sensitive in a way that like they might be there's companies out there that get really huffy about things, and because certain technologies and things like that, situations tend to look very similar. And I've had situations where one company is saying, hey, he's talking about us, and I'm not, but they're just assuming that because it's the same scenario. Actually, with the workshop we did last week, which I'm closing down tonight, by the way. If you want free access, you've got another like 2 hours to
Oh,
get
you
that.
guys should go jump on that because it's really good. I was on the whole thing. I was actually going to just stay for maybe an hour because I had some things to do, and then I just canceled everything and stayed on with DJ because I learned a lot actually. So
Yeah,
I would take advantage of it being up online
yeah,
today.
and it's still going to be available. It's just thrive-it.com/risk. After today, it's just one of those things where you'll have to like pay like $14 or whatever it is I put up there to help me pay for the platform to be able to have access. But I gave it for free this week just to put it out there for people. But one of the things we talk about in that was a story of two different companies that are doing the same exact deployment. And it's funny because I was talking
That's
about
good.
replacing 2008 R2, and in like 4 days, server 2012 R2 goes out of end of life. And I'm thinking in my head about how many companies are about to make some really foolish decisions out of panic and not do that. So when it comes to deployments and things like that, this is really key for you to know these things that just aren't really taught out there. It's just assumed that you know this, and yeah, you don't.
This was the like you hit this about the middle of the workshop. This part, right?
Mhm.
Because that's the point I was about to go and be like, okay, let me go do these other appointments I have, and I got so like, like yeah, that's what I did, man. That was the point. That was the part because it was like just the differences in the way they approached the project,
Yeah,
and like taking the time but doing it right versus jumping on it because somebody said to and doing it the wrong way, and then it cost the money or the company so much more money in the long run, and like, it's like it blew my mind actually just to
yeah.
see it like side by side the way you explained it. I
And
really,
honestly, and it's one of those things where, like I just said, it's like one of those things where like it is based on something that actually happened. So I
yeah.
don't want to leave that up publicly for very much longer. I'm taking a risk as it is. I'm taking a risk with putting my risk workshop up too long. That's hilarious. Um, Says the
Yeah,
guy who was fired for a blog post. I'm sensitive to these things.
I
You know,
mean, you didn't say anything terrible like about
of course
anybody, and
not.
that's what these
And
vendors need to understand.
yeah,
Like I mean, every
so
vendor out there has made mistakes.
you brought
Like,
you
and we
brought
all
something that I
learn.
that I want to address because this is
Yeah,
something that I don't think people understand, and that is that it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It really doesn't. I can't afford a legal battle, and most people I know can't afford that legal battle, but that company can. And so that's why we have to be very prudent and cautious and be aware of the risks we're taking and be protective of ourselves and our audience, right? The people we quote unquote influence, we have to be protective. And so that's me doing that. I'm making sure that I can continue on. It has nothing to do with whether or not they could sue me or not. It's like, yeah, people can sue you for anything. I just you want to kind of take it easy. So like the title of the book was going to be, I wanted it to be Just Do IT. But a friend of mine pointed out that, yeah, so there's this company called Nike, and they tend to sue anybody who says just do it. And it's like, but I'm saying just do IT. And this is like, have you met a lawyer lately? Ooh,
I didn't even. I mean, I thought about it maybe when I read the title, like, oh, that sounds. Oh yeah, that's why. Nike, whatever.
yeah,
Because it's like, but that is funny. Like, because that's one company. Yeah, you don't want coming after you. No way.
yeah, yeah. It really disrupted what I was planning. I had literally like this came out of the process of me paying for people designing a cover. And it was during that process that this all came out and
Uh,
freaked me out. So I literally changed the title of the book just during that process. And so that actually
so wait.
cost
So
me some
you
money.
just put the two dots? Is that wait? Because it's just do it, but you put
Yeah.
the two dots, and so that's what you've been using.
Right. So I
And
could have defended
yeah,
myself easily. In fact, I could say just do it. And as long as I didn't use the little swoosh, I've been fine. But it's sometimes it's just not worth
I know.
taking the risk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. And
so
that's the thing. I mean, vendors, y'all gotta lighten up, dudes. Bros,
good luck
women,
with that.
everybody. No, I know, but it's true. It's like, I mean, it's costly for vendors too. I mean, if they're gonna sue over that kind of thing. I mean, of course,
Mhm.
Nike's got all the money in the world, but like, I mean, if we're talking startup companies and other things. Like I've heard, long, and I'm sure you have too, but like vendors I've worked with, everything, they've had lawsuits going on. Like usually at least a couple of few, whatever it is, while I'm there, no matter how long I'm there. And it's like something about some intel or some code that an employee like started their own company, whatever it was. And it's like that stuff I get, if it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, intellectual property is a big thing, right? But like zeros and ones and like there's certain things you got to just really, I
Yeah.
hope it's not like they're jumping on it because, oh, you just left the company and it's an emotional thing. We're not happy you did that. We wanted you to be here and be our whatever, CTO, whatever it was, like whatever role they had, and it's, or engineer or whatever. And it's like you really got to look and see before you jump on somebody, an individual that's out there, like. So anyway, I don't
That's
know.
good.
Like people get, companies, people, everybody gets sensitive, more and more these days. So I kind of am seeing a little bit of a shift now. I'm not sure if it's just me and being hopeful and optimistic, but I'm starting to see people are just kind of like about just the sensitivities, not just in general, like about one word, that is not, I mean, of course, there's words you don't want to say and stuff like that, but, and words that are terrible and words that
Mhm.
bring up a lot of horrible things. And I mean, it's like, it's unnecessary. But I'm talking about just something that would be completely, like, what do you call it? Like innocuous, right? It's like, and jumping all over somebody on Twitter for it.
The pile on effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
oh
mean,
yeah.
I
Let's
was
all get together and talk about how horrible this person is what it basically
I
feels like.
know, it's bullying. It's
Yeah.
it's
It
like an
really is.
excuse to bully. That's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And we got to change that part. Like, and
Yeah, it'd be
maybe
nice.
it's about education too. Like if it is a little bit like, they maybe shouldn't have said that, maybe they don't know. Like just DM them.
Yeah. Right.
DM
Yeah.
them, let them know,
It's one of those things where it's like, you know, correct in private, praise in public. And that's just a rule
Exactly.
I live by and I wish more people would adopt for sure.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what community's all about, like it's not jumping on everybody. And I don't think a lot
yeah.
of us in our all the people that we know, across the world and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think most of both, I mean, the majority, if not all, like really do that, but
Yeah. And
to slip up sometimes and then, and we all have bad days, right? Like, maybe we're in a mood, whatever it is, but like, I mean, I have never posted anything on anything that was meant to antagonize anybody. And if it ever has, please know that that was never my intention. I don't think it has, because it's just, but if I'm doing it, it's like a question, like, is this, it's something provocative to like, what was it that I posted out there? I just wanted to see what people thought, and I put a question mark, and the question mark was about like, what do you think about, like, I just brought VDI up again, I was like, like, is what started and died quickly on the vine, or whatever it was, and it was like, it didn't, obviously, and people are still talking about it, so still a concept is still out there, it's still viable, whatever, right? We have a lot of vendors doing VDI, so in different ways too, and I'm not, it's like, that wasn't intended to hurt anybody working for any vendors, believe me. Like, that was one of those, like, I want to hear the discussion, come on, let's go,
yeah.
so anyway, it's like, the more sensitive, I think in general that we get, and I think we all can, right? Like, I just definitely, like, if I'm in a mood, I won't go on Twitter, or I won't go, like, I won't, I just won't, because I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna look at something with blinders on, or whatever you call it, like, because I'm having a personal bad day or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like, I'm just gonna rest. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna be good tomorrow, or later, or whatever. So anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
It hinders discussion, the sensitivities.
Yeah.
That's and
Sure.
like, when, if you're afraid to ask questions about things because you're afraid how it's going to be construed, because people might jump on you or whatever it is, and
Mhm.
that's I think that's the root of what we got to change, or as a community, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a redefining what a safe environment looks like.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like yeah, the pylons are not allowed, that sort of thing. But,
I love how you say the pylons. Is that a thing? Because that's, I mean,
I don't know.
do people
I
do
think of
people
them
call it
as.
that? That, I love the way, I love that, though. It's a great term for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, all the
listen, I got it on Geek Girl too, but in a different form, right? It's like, it wasn't in a workshop or a video or whatever. It was in writing, and I mean, it hasn't happened in a long time, thank goodness. Crossing my fingers.
yeah.
But it's interesting, and I make it a lesson in a way. Like, that's how I've done it, where it's like, I won't usually, I mean, I think it might have, if, yeah, no, I never did. I think I've blocked 2 people off that site in 12 years. The other ones I was able
Mhm.
to, like, respond to and have a conversation with in front of everybody, like, that's in the community. And I found out typically it was because they were having a bad day, or they got in trouble with their parents, that day, and they got punished, and they were in their room, and they were pissed off, and it was a teenager. I mean, just stuff like that, where it's
Mhm.
like, the trolls, it's like, I mean, the one I'm thinking about was 13 years old, and I had no idea, and she said she got in trouble for liking my page. I'm like, let me talk to your mom. I mean, she's probably my age. And I keep my page at PG-13. So if you're 13, you're good. Like, um, and it completely turned things around from her being super mean to me. Like, I forget what she told me to, like, just, I don't even know. Nobody said things like that to me before, whatever it was, on the public thing, for no reason, and turned it around to, oh my God, I'm so happy we talked. She wanted some attention. I think that's what it
Yeah.
was.
That a lot of times is what it is too, but yeah.
It's everybody's got their reasons behind what they're doing. So it's kind of like, you got to think before you tweet.
Yeah, because sometimes it can really damage relationships. And we're talking about in the tech world more specifically. That's really a thing, and I've witnessed it happening. I've witnessed these little pile-ons and these Twitter battles and things like that that have damaged relationships permanently.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Terrible.
Is it worth defending your opinion that much? Is it worth your perception that much? The answer is
And
probably
nobody's
no.
yeah, and nobody's looking at it like if that happens and it's because you feel like, I mean, we all have ego, right? And ego is part of a human being, but
Right.
like not having a huge ego, but you know what I'm saying. But it's is it because you think other people they're schooling you in front of other people, like and like
Mhm.
that you're wrong? It's That's not the way it's perceived.
Yeah.
Like people, like it's conversation. So, and people that are mean or that jump on people, it's pretty obvious, right? Like
A lot
it's
of times, yeah.
yeah, I see the problem child here, right? So
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, actually, I think we're gonna end it there with that advice to just, don't be a jerk. So when you're filling
don't
out
be a
that survey,
jerk.
which you should totally fill out that survey, don't be a jerk. Just
Yeah,
be a person, be honest.
be transparent and put as much as you like. Put as much as you can in there. Like,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You have
Exactly.
unlimited. Yeah, they can write whatever they want.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
please.
there might be a
Well,
limit, but it's not going to be. It's a pretty big limit. So,
I'm
so
gonna
do your
test
thing.
it out.
And if I'm not
um,
the hardest person in the world to find. If you want to talk to me about something, there's lots of ways to do that. Lots. So it's all
and
good.
let me just say one more thing, because DJ, I mean, he's amazing as a coach in general, right? A life coach. I'm just talking about you. Sorry. So just you know,
That freshman
and
year.
he's got so much talent there and it's not just IT. So it's oops, sorry, I just lost that one. So okay, now I'm uneven. Hold on. So I hate when that happens. I have the weirdest shaped ears, so and I think it's only with this one that it
Mm.
pops out. Um, so what I was saying was, so with these kind of surveys, and you guys know me as well, because I think DJ, you're gonna allow me to take a look at some of it, right? Whatever, and we'll compile
They're all
data and I'll help
anonymous.
you with
So
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So write from your heart. Write from your heart, and you know what? If you need to, make it a venting session in
Yep.
writing, because I'll tell you, like, we all go through things in life, and a lot of it has to do with our career, right? So that's what this is. It's like, put it out there, because I'm sure you're not the only one. I'm sure a lot of us are feeling the same
Yeah.
way.
And that's another thing that's really important to know. And that's why well, things that we've been talking about, talking to others and that sort of thing, trying to formulate, okay, how can we do this? How can we make it work? That's the reason. That's the why behind all of it. The risk we're taking, the things we're doing to build and not build, and all the drama that's behind the scenes that nobody sees, all this kind of stuff is really to make sure that we're building something that's meaningful and actually helpful. And so, yeah, important to keep in mind for sure.
Yeah, we want to be doing. I mean, all of us, right? Want to be doing something that matters in this world.
I would hope. Yeah.
And
I
that's where our
realize it,
passion
but yeah,
lies.
that's a core kind of thing. In fact, I'm strongly considering making that the workshop for this month. I haven't officially announced this yet, but that's something I'm pretty strongly considering, is taking a step back from the technology world completely, and let's just talk about our vocations and why we do things. And the danger here is always that you might discover that you're in the wrong vocation because you're not passionate about it at all. But hey, you know what? It's better to discover that and not be stuck in a job you hate for a long time. There also might be ways to address um, those challenges, and so that's something I'm strongly considering if I can throw together in enough time. That's a
I
much
can
more
help you
complex
with that
workshop, but yeah.
if you would take a chance on me as
Eh,
helping you out on it. I mean, I'm happy to work with you and get and pull that together for you with you.
yeah,
You
we'll
know.
let you know. So, all right, on everybody. Well, we're going to go ahead and end this stream there. So, like I said, go ahead and head to. Actually, I don't even have an address. I don't even have a quick link for this yet. Just this QR code right now. Just click.
And
Turn
I
your
just want to
phone.
say,
Yeah,
let me say one more thing. DJ, you're crazy for doing all this stuff. Like, I can't
sure.
believe you're doing this bundle thing. Like, and I mean, that's like amazing to me. And it's unlimited, right? Or whatever. It's lifetime. It's like the whole gym scenario.
Mhm.
Like get in early and you can have everything forever for
Yeah,
free.
and
You
we'll
know, like
and we'll keep
going
finding
forward.
creative ways to do this kind of stuff.
Love
I'm
it.
I'm
Love
not
it.
giving up on all this kind of stuff, even though we're closing down the promotion in a few hours here. It doesn't mean we're giving up entirely. There'll be other opportunities, and so if this wasn't for you right now, we're going to find a way to make it here. We're going to find a way to make it work. So,
And
it's
let
fun.
DJ know too. Let
Yep.
him know why it didn't work if it didn't work for you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being with me, and we will have a great weekend, and find those little ways to leave things just a little bit better than you found them this weekend. All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Go get the survey, get it done. Talk to you later.
Bye.